Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be doing a summary review of the Halloween rare machine that is coming to North America on Monday. So it was a little unexpected that we actually got Halloween on time, seeing as that beach was held in October. But regardless of all that, we are going to be having a synchronized release in terms of cards being available with Japan. Basically, Japan gets a couple hours ahead because of time zone differences. But the point of the matter is, we have two new rare machine cards, one new farmable thing, but the thing is, the Halloween event as a whole is still quite low value. There is amazing value at the top now of Cotton, Verdandi, and now this new Zarek Infinity card, as well as the brand new farmable monster. But other than that, this event is kind of lackluster. It doesn't really necessarily provide that much merit or value. So, I'm going to be reviewing the two new cards, the farmable, and then talking about Verdandi because she has more relevancy and touching on Halloween Sonya because she has certain applications. So the new Zarek Infinity is a 7-star monster, and he has kind of like a mixture of like Amon, Nicol Bolas kind of leader skills, because if you look at the leader skill, it's no Skyfalls. You get 10 times attack when exactly 7 combos are matched, so that is Amon. But then you get 5 times attack when there are 5 or less orbs remaining on the board. So now it's kind of like Amon, but a little gentler by comparison. Instead of having to have exactly 3 orbs or less, you can have 5 or less. So there's a much more wiggle room by comparison. But in theory, if you can play Amon well, this shouldn't really be much of a difference. It's going to make it so you have at least activatable boards on a more regular basis, but you have basically 2,500 times damage when you hit your full activation requirements. And that is pretty amazing. Like, that should be able to kill most things in the game, is my presumption. Like, I know Amon is 10,000 times damage, but that is a little overkill for most things. Like, they can't scale everything's health for that level of damage because there are other leaders out there that have like 144 times, 225 times, so on and so forth. So Zarek Infinity is going to feel like a step down for sure. Another big notable thing is that they do have only one time extend, and having more time extends make it much easier to actually proc the leader skill. There is no defensive multiplier, and in terms of swipe farming, this is not going to be that proficient because you only have 5 times attack when there's 5 or less orbs, not the 10 times from Amon, or the, I don't remember what it is for Nicol Bolas, but it's a pretty high multiplier for Nicol Bolas when you have 0 orbs left on the board. So the point of the matter is, like, Zarek is kind of like doing a bit of everything, but he's not necessarily excelling amazingly well in one particular aspect, but still it's going to be a powerful card to own, I'd say. The active skill changes the top row to dark, the bottom row to wood, and then locks all attributes and heal orbs. So this is going to be possibly the first rare machine card that we have that can lock the full board. There is the, is it the Persona Farmable and Weapon Assist inherent? I think it's Persona, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's that blue little dinky guy, and he can lock the whole board as well. But now we have something that has relevant stats, so you don't have to use them as an inherit, as well as being able to generate the row at the bottom and the top. So this is quite valuable in the sense that if you are farming certain content, you use the full board changer, then you use the double row orb maker, and that guarantees you 7 combos with a void damage penetration box at the same time, with the sufficient number of orbs being removed as well. So he's kind of covering a lot of these interesting bases, so it's going to be an interesting leader. I feel like it brings some convenience. It can alleviate certain team building builds that don't have the double row making, that because those double row maker cards are not as available as they used to be, I would say. So moving on to Cotton, and Cotton is going to be kind of the big prize of this whole event. Surprise, surprise, everyone loves Cotton. So this Cotton here is quite different than her rare machine cousins. Most notably is the fact that she has 2 skill boosts and no time extends. So we're kind of trading those off. But she has, instead of being vulnerable, full bind immunity, she now has double TPAs. So this comes in conjunction with 777 combo. So the regular rare machine Cotton will be gaining a 777 combo Super Awakening, which means in solo mode she has 8 times personal damage. This Cotton here has unconditionally 8 times personal damage, whether in solo mode or co-op. But on top of that, you get 2 two-prong attacks. And this is going to just propel her damage output to probably the highest in the game, I'd say, of any card. Like, 2 TPAs is higher effective damage than 1-7 combo. So 8 times 2.25 5 is 18 times personal damage. That's a bonkerishly high amount of damage. Like, that's going to obliterate virtually everything in the game. But there are obviously some drawbacks to her. Most notably is that, like, she's not god typing, so that means you can't use her on Dark Metatron teams, so you will be a little sad there. Dark Metatron does lack strong 777 combo cards. Only Uranus exists, if I'm not mistaken, for dark and light cards as god typing, so a little drawback there. But thankfully, Cotton can actually form a powerful leader as herself. So her active skill is, for 1 turn, increase combo count by 1, remove locked orbs, and then try elemental board changer of light, dark, and heal. So you basically have the Apocalypse board changer with the unlock and +1 combo count. For 11 turn cooldown, it's a reasonably fair trade-off. Like, you are gaining certain benefits, but the orb unlocking is quite meaningful, so it is, I'd say, a pretty beneficial trade-off for the most part. And then her leader skill is quite exciting. She has 4 times attack and reduces damage when 7 plus combos are matched, then 3 times attack and reduce damage once again when light and dark are matched. So if we combine the 2 damage components, that's 144 times multiplier. So that is Vraska, that is Edward's level of damage output, but Cotton herself has way more damage output, like way more personal damage output than either of those leaders. And then in addition to that, she has 68.36% damage reduction when you hit both her clauses. And that is pretty incredible for the most part. She's going to be somewhat invulnerable, but that's an amazing amount. That's an amazingly high amount of effective health. It is not quite the level of 4 times health, but being able to reduce damage by that much is meaningful because it does kind of help you heal back up. You can just heal back up easily because you'd only have to restore, like, say, 30,000, 40,000 health, which is definitely doable with 1 times RCV leaders. So it does have some benefits there. You're much more resilient against gravities, but then again, you have to bear in mind that you have to hit 7 combos, so bad boards can screw you over, like things that have too many jammers or poisons, so on and so forth. And then you have to have light and dark orbs present for all of those to actually trigger. So you're kind of playing like a bit of Yusuke in the sense you need 2 colors, but you have the damage reduction, tankiness of like Edward without the health clause. So she's going to be quite an interesting leader, and of course the biggest drawback is going to be vulnerability to binds. But with that being said, Nicol Bolas weapon assist does exist, or you can use Mutt, which I would not recommend. Nicol Bolas is the better option, but not many people have a Nicol Bolas lying around to convert into a weapon assist inherit, so it's going to be a luxurious inherit for Cotton, but it's probably going to be her best in slot to prevent her from being bound. And another great thing about her leader skill is that there is no type or attribute restriction. Ideally, you want to be light and dark based, but you can use things like Hexazeon for massive amounts of health. You can use Ideals. You can use Valentine's Day. Like, we have lots of options that can cover all the bases. So I can definitely foresee Halloween Cotton being a top tier leader moving forward. And if you did trade him for Beach Barber and Julie, like, don't be upset. She is still incredibly powerful. I don't know how Cotton will compare by comparison, but I guess only time will tell. But it most likely might be worthwhile trading in for her. We can always wait, because this event should be, what, a week or maybe 2 weeks long? Probably a week, actually. Halloween's kind of soon. So, well, no, Halloween's should be 2 weeks long, this event. So you can just wait and see what people are doing with her. Like, is she as amazing as we think she's going to be, or is she just a bit more lackluster, so on and so forth. And then one last point I want to point out is that she has the balance typing, but she's not really a balanced card. By balance typing, you can take any killer latent, so for Altarina, that's probably going to be God Killers. And now we have Halloween Verdandi, who got new evolution and pretty good buff overall. So she has double 7 combo, she's fully bind immune, she's got 2 skill boosts, 2 time extends, she's God typing, and that means you are able to actually utilize her on your Dark Metatron teams. She can be limit broken, so her stats are going to push up higher through the roof. Her Super Awakenings, I can't see them on this page here, I'll just quickly look on the other page here, but the double time extents are definitely going to help alleviate some of the issues of Dark Metatron teams. And her Super Awakenings are Follow-Up Attack. There we go. So there we go. We got a great Follow-Up Attack Awakening for your Dark Metatron teams. You can use Muta, which is farmable. You can use Planar, but Halloween Verdandi is a good balance between Planar and herself. You lose 1 time extend, but you have more damage output. You have a faster charging base cooldown, which is meaningful. You don't get the +3 combo count, so VDP boards are not guaranteed. But hey, you have this full health heal. Now, this full health heal may seem a little counterintuitive for Dark Metatron teams, but it does allow you to at least restore your like 100,000, 140,000 plus health pool immediately, which can be meaningful. If you have an Izanagi, you can chunk your health down again accordingly, so you are able to kind of survive things. Plus you also get a board of wood, dark, and heart orbs, so you can definitely heal back up if needed. Like, HP management is crucial to Dark Metatron teams, so having the ability to full health heal can be meaningful under the right circumstances. So it's another great follow-up attack option card with wonderful stats and damage output. But in terms of trading in, I would not necessarily trade in for a sub, because as a leader she has to be full health, which is a little problematic, and then you have 20 times attack, so that's 400 times attack and damage reduction when you match a heart cross. So heart cross teams are not as amazing as they used to be. It's hard to hit 7 combos with a heart cross. It's just not going to be as practical, so I would not recommend trading in for Verdandi. If anything, I would trade in for Cotton if I had the Godfest exclusives to do so. So with that being said, I just want to kind of just touch upon the Old Castle Sonya, basically. Let's see if this shows up on my screen here. Yes, it does. The Halloween Sonya, she has relevance for certain ranking dungeons because she's a bicolor board changer with 2 turns haste. So the idea is you have multiple bicolor board changers with multiple 2 turns haste, and when you use all those in conjunction, you can cycle actives back up. So your team of 6 active skills can be possibly more. It could be 7 or 8, because you are able to basically hasten back up active skills that were used earlier on. Can be very meaningful for certain ranking setups, but other than that, it's kind of a niche card for the most part. And then lastly is the Farmable myne. So Super Gunma was the budget option for 1 turn active skill usage. Now we have myne. So with myne, she has 2 team health awakening, so it's kind of like the opposite of TARDIS. TARDIS has 3 team RCV, so myne gives you the extra health, which is probably more important for Anubis, Diablos, or double Anubis teams. You want the health. You should have enough recovery for the most part, because Anubis already gives a bit of healing on his leader skill component. Furthermore, she has pretty decent stats for the most part, a modest amount of health with pluses, and then super awakenings. With limit breaking, it's going to hit 6,000 plus, I would say, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a good chunk of health for a farmable monster. But it's the 1 turn active skill that is relevant, and her active skill locks all dark orbs. So it's not a full board lock, but hey, it's a 1 turn active skill. We don't necessarily care too much what the effect is, as long as it's not a negative penalty. And generally speaking, you can work around this. You can use your board changer, then lock the dark orbs if you didn't want dark to be too prevalent, or you could lock them before then board change if you want a dark heavy board, so on and so forth. So there is some flexibility there, but it's giving players at least a very strong option for a farmable card for a 1 turn base active skill. Now, the kind of ironic thing I feel about this card is that they have the co-op boost awakening, and they also have limit break super awakening, so you only can get one of those benefits. In co-op, you get the co-op boost. In solo, you get either 7 combo cloud or L awakening. In terms of the super awakenings, I would say the cloud is situationally useful, but if you're running Anubis, you might already have the cloud resist on himself. 7 combo does help pump out damage, and I know Anubis Diablos has 225 times or so. Having more damage is still meaningful nowadays because we're facing spawns of hundreds of millions of health, and every little bit may make a difference. So myne is definitely a wonderful farmable card, and I would definitely go out for myself on both of my accounts to farm at least one of them just to have available. And then their leader skill is 5 times attack when the team consists of Dragonbound Dragon Caller cards, and then 4 times attack when 6 plus combos matched. So this is another budget solution to players who don't have base Nay or base Cotton and want to do ranking dungeons with a base Nay or base Cotton friend. Basically, you'd have 5 times unconditional damage, and then paired with the Nay or Cotton, that should be 8 or 9 times each, but you have a reasonably high amount of damage, but you can just hit 6 plus combos, and then bam, you have 20 times damage on this side, which is going to explode all over everything. You can hit the damage cap, but you might even be able to get away with cards like, if it's a god type spawn, it's kind of like you could do 1 combo, number 6 could kill it, that sort of idea. Just gives a little bit more options and flexibility. So again, it's another good reason to actually own a myne. So you want to make her myne. I want to make her myne. Regardless of all that, the Halloween event is okay. I would not encourage players to actually roll in it. If anything, trade in for Cotton. You can't trade in for Zarek Infinity because he's not the 8-star, but hey, Cotton, is definitely the big prize in this event. So let me know what you think about this event in the comments below. Do you think you'd actually roll in it, or do you think you'd trade in for cotton, or just do your free roll and just be happy with the spooky silver egg you roll? Hopefully you'll have a fantastic day. Wish you all the best of luck in your own pet adventures, and happy puzzling.